Yeah, it'll be fine. Afternoon, everyone. I'm John Lipsack, Battalion Chief of the Public Information Office for Charlotte Fire. Thank you for joining us here today. Charlotte once again has the potential for another snowstorm this weekend. It is important that everybody takes the appropriate actions now and be prepared for the storm once it starts. Again, be sure you have working smoke and CO alarms in your house and avoid travel unless necessary. Just a week ago, Charlotte Fire experienced a fire death due to no smoke alarms, so this is very important. Today we have the following community members with us that are going to share important information on staying safe and how Charlotte is prepared. We have Division Chief White Graham, Charlotte Mecklenburg Emergency Management Office, Karen Pelletier, Director of Community Support for Mecklenburg County, Stephen Bolt, Superintendent of Streets for Charlotte DOT, and Sean Kaufman, Deputy Director of Charlotte Water. Chief Graham.
Good afternoon, everybody. It seems like we were just here, because we were, right? So it was a long weekend. I'm very proud of all of our partners for what they did last week, and we're right back in it again. This is different. This is a different storm. So the last storm, we were very concerned with the ice accumulation across Mecklenburg County. This time, we're worried about snow, which is not our primary concern. Our primary concern is really going to be the cold temperatures coupled with the snow. That being said, our meteorologists, and we get lots of different opinions. Anywhere from 4 to 12 inches of snow is what is expected across Mecklenburg County. So it might not be bad where you are, but other areas of the county may experience a very high snowfall. And the cold is going to extend through Monday afternoon, and then we'll start to see higher temperatures, daytime temperatures. But obviously, it comes with its own concerns. We were very prepared last weekend, and I could not be prouder of our partners that were here. Just as we did last weekend with a state of emergency will go into effect for Charlotte and Mecklenburg County beginning tonight at 5 o'clock. And what that really does for us is it enacts our countywide emergency operations plan, which is signed off by all 8 local governments in the county. And it expands our ability to take protective actions to support our residents here in Mecklenburg County. It will prohibit price gouging and allows for increased staffing for our public safety and essential employees. The Emergency Operations Center, the City and County Emergency Operations Center, will be open tomorrow for the duration of the snowfall, and then all of our partners will communicate throughout the weekend to ensure we have the resources necessary to deal with the cold weather. And we're going to talk about some of the concerns with the cold weather with Charlotte Water in the county. Mecklenburg County has enacted their extreme cold plan, put it into effect. And so shelters are open to support residents who need a warm place to stay. Karen Pelletier will speak about that in just a minute. 311, and as you guys know, we have 911, we have 311. 911, always remember those are for property or anything with taking care of our folks. So if you have a major emergency, you call 911. If you have regular things, you call 311. 311 specifically for frozen pipes, down trees, and questions about city and county services and life-threatening emergencies for 911. We encourage everybody, as we always say, we talk about making a plan. And making a plan is important not only for you personally, but ensuring that your friends and loved ones also have a plan. And if you lose contact with loved ones, you want to plan to get that contact back. Preparing to stay at home for the weekend, we ask everybody, as we always do, and I learned this a long time ago, but it is incredibly important that we ask people to stay at home during the storm and afterwards that they clear the streets, because we want to allow our essential personnel to be able to get to and from work. And that includes, of course, our great and brave CMPD, our Charlotte firefighters, which are amazing, our paramedics, our nurses, our doctors, and other key staff that have to travel the roads. Build a kit, make sure you have enough food, water, medications, and other essentials for your family and pets for the duration of the storm, and have emergency supplies in your home, including flashlights, batteries, battery-operated radio, medical supplies, non-perishable foods, and fully charged cell phone. Take care of your neighbors. I always say that. Please take care of your neighbors. Check on those that maybe you haven't had dialogue with in a while. make sure that they're taken care of throughout the storm. Gather supplies tonight as we expect to start seeing winter weather overnight in the wee hours of the morning. And make sure you're keeping up with news. We talked about the importance of weather radio, but there are other sources out there as well. Stay tuned to local news stations and the National Weather Service for updates. Subscribe, as we always tell everybody, and I always make sure this is in here, to SharMec Alerts at sharmecalerts.com to receive valuable information from emergency management and the National Weather Service. It's a great way to get weather updates. Monitor Charlotte-Mecklenburg Emergency Management on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. And during the winter weather, this is really important. So carbon monoxide, you can't see it, taste it, smell it, and so it is a killer. And we want to make sure that if you're using chainsaws or generators, you know exactly how to do that you've been trained to do it. Generators, make sure that they're at least 20 feet away from your home and away from any vents or any way that it might enter a residence. And never use charcoal grill or camping stoves or other devices, because there are other devices that we've seen. I've seen turkey fryers, I've seen sheetrock heaters. You want to make sure that people aren't using those to stay warm if you lose power. Use space heaters safely, and so you want to make sure you're using those in accordance with the directions that come with it. And if you're clearing debris, do not use power tools unless you are fully trained in proper safety procedures. As always, call 911 for emergencies and call 311 to report down trees and power lines. And for more information, you can always visit charlottegov.me/info center. So /info center. I think I got that right. So I'm going to turn it over to Karen Pelletier for information on the county services.
Well, hello again, everyone. I am Karen Pelletier. I'm the Division Director of Housing Innovation and Stabilization Services with Mecklenburg County, and I'm here this afternoon to talk to you a bit about the county's plan and how we are serving our most vulnerable neighbors in our community, and those are folks that are experiencing homelessness. And so just like I shared last week, the county continues to work with our emergency shelters and our street outreach teams to ensure that people are aware of resources and, if interested, are able to access those resources through our emergency shelter system. And so we're very proud of the work that Hearts for the Invisible, who is out today and tomorrow, working to continue to canvass our entire community to really make sure that folks that are unsheltered know that a storm is coming. We're also working with Roof Above, Salvation Army, and My Sister's House to make sure that they have what they need to make sure that people who want a warm place to sleep this weekend have that warm place. And so I do really appreciate all the work of our first responders that are represented here, but I do want to also thank all the work of our first responders regarding our street outreach team and our emergency management at our shelters, because they have not let up since last weekend with the cold weather, that they have been and go since then. So I do want to acknowledge them in this. Hearts for the Invisible will be accepting winter blankets and winter gear tomorrow morning, Saturday morning, from 8 a.m. until 11 a.m. at 618 North College Street. Because of all the street outreach that they've been doing, they're starting to run low on blankets, and so you can visit their website, but they will have for blankets and winter weather gear at 618 North College Street tomorrow morning, Saturday morning, from 8 a.m. until 11 a.m. And that is all for my update.
Next up, we'll have Stephen Bolt from Charlotte DOT.
Good afternoon. I'm Stephen Bolt from Charlotte Department of Transportation. I am the street superintendent and wanted to take a moment to speak about how CDOT is preparing for a significant winter event this week. One of the concerns we have are the impacts lasting until next week. So we are in the process of proactively pre-treating our streets today. Tonight we will transition into a condition. We will be on 24 hours a day until our routes are substantially clear. We have built additional signal infrastructure and loaded our trucks in preparation for this event. We ask the public stay at home and off the roadways. We want to let our public works first responders respond safely and effectively to this event throughout the week. Residents are encouraged to report hazardous conditions that they may find on city streets to 311. That allows a direct access to us and notifies us of issues. Also, do not approach, drive under, around any down power lines. They all need to be treated as live and a danger to yourself. Lastly, any signal that is dark with no power must be treated as an always stop. Please take your time if you have to go out and drive safely. Thank you.
Next up, we'll have Sean Kaufman, Charlotte Water.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Sean Kaufman. I'm the Deputy Director for Charlotte Water. Want you to know that your utility is prepared for this cold weather. And our reason for being here today is to help you become prepared in your homes. A couple of things that you need to consider. You need to be prepared now, as Chief Graham indicated just a few minutes ago, before the freezing weather comes in over the next couple of days. A couple simple things that you can do. You can locate your emergency water cutoff valve so that if you do have a problem, you can immediately cut it off. If you have an opportunity, insulating pipes near external walls is very helpful. I also highly recommend that you keep your cold water either at kitchen or in a bathroom dripping, and open up cabinets to allow heat in for any pipes that may be exposed. You can seal openings to crawl space. That will actually help cold air or preclude cold air from impacting your pipes. And you can do that with cardboard, with insulation, with anything that you can do to keep the cold air out of your crawl space. And then lastly, if your hot water heater happens to be in your garage, keep your garage door closed as much as you can, again, to preclude as much cold air as possible from impacting your pipes. If you have a problem on your property, call a licensed plumber as soon as you can. If you happen to see a leak in the street or in a public space, don't hesitate to call 311. We have crews on the ready all the time, and we're prepared to deal with any leaks that come to pass. And again, use 311 for public. Call a licensed plumber if you need something done in your house or on your property. Thank you, and please be safe.
Thank you to all our speakers here today. We'll open the floor now for a few questions if anybody has any.
Yeah, I guess this would be more for the Deputy Chief. We still see a lot of lingering ice on sidewalks, side streets, things of that nature. People might be excited to go out and play in the snow, but what is your word of caution to them with some of that ice still maybe lingering under the pretty stuff that's headed our way, if you will?
But it's dangerous. I fell on it a couple times in the last couple days. So yeah, we do have ice out there. You need to be aware of that. Know where your kids are and know what they're doing. And for the older residents in Mecklenburg County, please help them. So to answer your question, ice, we're in the South, so we're not used to all these events, multiple events as they roll out. But we're doing everything we can to get those up. A lot of property management have probably learned in the last week they need to look at their contracts for snow removal and ice removal. But it is out there, and we need to be aware of it.
The city put out that the fire department received 700 calls for service last weekend. Can you talk about what kind of calls you all received? What you're advising people this weekend?
So on a regular day, the Charlotte Fire Department receives anywhere from 250 to 400 calls. Last weekend, we ran an awful lot of fire alarms related to some of the issues we talked about, frozen pipes, but also for accidents. A lot of people stay off the road, and I was very proud of that. But there are people who get out there and get on the roads. Last week's storm, every storm is different. And so if you remember last week, we had an additional, I won't call it second round, but a heavier batch came through, and there was a jackknife tractor trailer on 85 in Gaston County that created a lot of, not chaos, but it was troubling for I-85. This week, we expect to see the same. We got really lucky last week. And like I said, every storm is the same. be nice to our meteorologists. They're doing the best they can. They take all the data they have and they come up with a forecast, but it's always different wherever you are, right? And so some places last week did see 3/4 of an inch of ice, but other places did not see as much, and they thought that was a bust of a forecast. Remember, going into Helene, I think, and I'm from Western North Carolina, I think a lot of people, even when they look at the forecast, didn't fully understand what that storm was going to look like. And here in Charlotte, Mecklenburg County, I've been here almost 30 years. There have been times when we were calling for 4 inches and got over a foot. So just be aware, keep up with the weather and what we're doing. There will be heavier bands that will come through, and the meteorologists have already told us that.
Right, how tough is it to have these storms back to back on staffing and hours?
It's tough on my wife. But it's tough on our staff, especially our loved ones, because we have regular things that we're doing for the city and the county. Public servants are just that. We take a lot of pride in being public servants in every department, every division. We love what we do. It's very rare when you run into a public servant that does not absolutely love taking care of our public. So we're good. Hopefully we won't have a storm next week. That would be great. And we'll roll through and get ready, because now we're going to get ready in the spring and have to deal with severe weather there too.
You talked about the learning lessons from the 2002 ice storm last week. What are some of the learning lessons from previous snowstorms that you all are taking into this weekend?
I think there's always lessons, but there's also practice, right? And so even this week, when we're reaching out to our partners, they just did it. So they're ready to go right now. And so even when we going into a state of emergency, we literally rescinded the state of emergency for last week's storm, I believe yesterday or the day before, and now we're asking for another state of emergency for this storm. But we have a great culture of emergency management here in Charlotte and Mecklenburg County. This county operates as one when it comes to disasters. So from Davidson all the way down to Matthews, everybody is on board with what we do. Our managers are on board, our elected officials are on board, and we have elected officials here today that are very interested in the emergency management function. Emergency management is made up of all the different partners, all different agencies at every level that make our county safe.
Question for Karen regarding some help with the unhoused neighbors. Obviously, going to be a lot colder, I think, this weekend with the wind chill. Can you speak to what you saw with the extended shelter space last weekend? Did people take advantage of it? And are you prepared for maybe even more people to take advantage of it this weekend?
Right, so we're continuing to monitor the capacity and the demand for services, and that's always a balancing act, even when it's 70 degrees out. But we know with the expanded capacity, we are really looking to serve anyone who wants shelter. We did see a sharp spike in demand both Saturday and Sunday of people seeking shelter. With the outreach teams out now and the shelter staff, we're working to say that as folks are coming in, people are being transported to shelter, to then continuing to monitor that demand. But we do anticipate more people coming in. But we also know that a lot of people that came in for shelter last week haven't left because it hasn't warmed up any. And so that's what we're looking to do now.
And that's running through, I think I saw on social media, that state of emergency section is running at least through Monday?
Correct. And we'll continue to monitor and make sure that the shelters have what they need.
Well, that will conclude today's events. Remember, working CL alarms, working smoke alarms during this time, 311 for non-emergencies, 911 for emergencies. Let these individuals work, let them get home safely to their families. Enjoy the snow, but be safe and be mindful when you're out there. Thank you.